Welcome to the Book Party Podcast.
Join us as we journey into the world of books with Michael T.
Prepare to be captivated by engaging interviews, insightful discussions, and fascinating stories. You'll discover new adventures and gain insight into the creative process of the authors themselves as they share their struggles and accomplishments. Now let's hear from Michael T.
This is Michael T. Thank you for being with us this morning. To all our listeners, I would invite you to go to bookpartypodcast.com. That's bookpartypodcast.com. Hit that subscribe tab on top, then scroll down to the icon of your choice. You can find us on one of your favorite platforms such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeart Podcasts, or Odyssey. Download and follow us there. Please don't forget to sign up for our newsletter to get the latest information on our upcoming shows. Today, I would like to introduce our guest, Sunni Connor, and her book, Society versus You. Sunni T. Connor is an author, motivational speaker, and mindset coach. Sunni has published 5 books and has spoken to crowds all over the country. She's a serial entrepreneur, but nothing brings her more joy than writing and helping others grow. Sunni, why don't you take it from here, fill in the blanks a bit, and tell our listeners about yourself.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for having me, Michael. So I've been writing forever, it feels like, since I was a little girl, and I've had a passion for words, which is how I got into speaking as well. And lately I've crossed my genres. I used to do suspense, and now I'm doing self-help, and I enjoy just helping people, showing them different avenues, different ways of looking at reality.
In your journey of writing and publishing, did you take the journey of self-publishing as an author or the journey of an agency with an author?
It's so funny because I started off taking the journey with an agency, and at the last minute, I decided that I would self-publish, and that was my first book, Damaged Little Girl. And I decided to self-publish because it was my life story, and I wanted to have full control if I wanted to make it into a movie or whatever it is I wanted to do in the future. I just wanted full control. So to answer, yeah, I eventually wound up going all the way self-publishing.
For all of the books then after that?
For all of the books, even the ones in Spanish, they're also self-published.
Okay, so when you do your self-publishing, the words are yours, right?
Oh, yes. Everything is mine. Everything is mine. 2 of my books, I did work with a graphic designer to come up with the covers. And some of the books I had professional covers made by people in the industry. As far as the Spanish books, I've been learning Spanish for 4 years, 4 años. And I used one of my professors in Chile, and we worked together to translate the books so that he can say them in the correct American terminology, not just translate them so basic, that they can have expression and personality the way that I wrote them.
Right. So in your editing and all of that, are you doing that yourself as well? Or are you having an editor and formatter kind of help you with that?
Oh, no. I do the first proofreading myself, and then I do send all my books off to an editor, except my first book is the only one that I edited myself. And I don't regret that decision. And it's only because the book was written when I tried to get editors, they were changing my voice. They were changing the tone of how I was expressing what happened. And from where I come from, it was really important that the words be expressed the way that I was expressing them. And I don't regret that because to this day, it's still one of my best sellers. Although it was edited by me, it has so much, it's so authentic that people, they just flipping the pages. You can really go through the story with my mind because it wasn't tampered with. But that's the only book. All the other books have been professionally edited, and I did hire an editor.
Okay. Because my weakness is formatting, so I always have a formatter format my books for me. That's my formatting and cover design. Those are my two huge weaknesses.
I'm actually a
So,
pretty amazing formatter. So I have formatted myself. And that was something that I did even before I published my own book. I did formatting for other authors. So that's something I'm very comfortable with. I wouldn't feel the need to pay someone to do that part.
okay. On your current book, take us to a point of what you would consider your worst author moment.
This original book was written quite a few years ago. I think it was 3 years. It was before the pandemic. And things had changed a lot in the world that I felt the need to update it to the energy that was going on now. And so that was really hard to go back and rewrite entire chapters. I mean, it was brutal because I had changed so much over those years, and my message had changed so much because of all the things that had happened in our environment. So if I had to say that was like a struggle for me, it was rewriting. Rewriting is something I've never done. I've always written what I wanted, confident about it, and put it out. But this book was so special to me to put it out in a way that what I was really trying to say be perceived correctly, in a way that people could pick this book up and really get something out of it. And I felt an obligation to rewrite certain chapters prior to the pandemic.
Okay. So let's turn that around a little bit to what we call an epiphany moment and take us to a point of an incredible, the light bulb went off in the head moment. Like, wow, this, no matter what you were doing besides the writing, all of a sudden, this bright light hits you right in the middle of the head, and you've got to find a pen and paper and write it down right now so it doesn't fade, you don't forget it. Take us to a moment like that.
Oh, so there was a moment where someone had passed away, and for the first time, it was someone I was close with that I knew for years and was close with my children. But for the first time, I didn't feel a lost. I didn't feel grieving. It was the moment that I realized that we're here for a little bit of time. We're here for an experience. We come, we leave. And it was the first time I had handled death in that kind of way. And it was such a light bulb moment. It was like, I have to end the book with death was always the ending, And that's the 12th chapter of the book, because it's the one fact that life gives us. And for whatever reason, it changed me as a person that day with that particular person dying. It really made me understand that the experience is temporary. And I was just like, I need a pen, I need a paper. But I like to write by typing. I don't write handwrite and then have it typed or type it up. I like to get a laptop and go in. And so it was just amazing for that to really hit me like that. And it's actually one of my favorite chapters that people that read the book is one of the fans' favorites. So really was a bright moment for me.
Great. Well, let's go to today. What is the one thing that has you the most fired up about, the most excited about right now, today?
Today. Oh, today. Because every day is different. Today, I am most fired up literally about knowing who I am, if I could say. Because I woke up this morning and I said, "Who are you?" And I said, "I am an eternal being having a human experience. And that made me excited all day because I know who I am. I really know who I am, and I remind myself of who I am, and that I have the choice to be what or who or how I want to be. There's no one running this show in my reality but me. And so that excites me. It excites me when I remind myself to tune into who I am.
So that's fantastic because you get that, and hopefully you get that every day. This is Michael T. Thank you for being with us this morning. We invite you to go to bookpartypodcast.com, hit that subscribe tab on top, then scroll down to the icon of your choice, such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, or Odyssey, where you can find us on one of your favorite platforms. Download us and follow us there, and please leave a review. Don't forget to sign up for our latest newsletter and get the information on your upcoming shows. Now, Sunny, we're going to enter the lightning round, and the lightning round is 4 pointed questions for 4 pointed answers. So before you ever started writing as an author, what was holding you back from becoming an author?
The fear of being critiqued, the fear of not being successful, having to get out of my comfort zone. That's what scared me more than anything. The fact that I will put this work out and people could hate it and no one could want to read it, or I could just sell 5 books. I mean, the unknown of what an author life would be like really scared me.
Yeah, okay. That's a common answer. Share one of your personal habits that contributes to your success.
Personal habit is I get up and I get stuff done. I mean, when I quit my 9 to 5 job, I decided that I would still get up as if I had to go to work for someone. So that's a habit that I carry on with me right now. And I think that's the reason I get a lot done.
Now, with our listeners, share at least one internet resource that you use in your writing.
I actually use Goodreads. I know that's a lot for the readers. Authors are on there as well, but I use Goodreads to hear what is happening, like what's the latest that's going on, what genres are popping, what new authors are talking about, are there new ways that readers are buying books or communicating about books. So I actually use Goodreads just to see what's going on in the writing world.
Okay, we're going to be entering the grand finale now, Sonny. And what I'd like you to do is tell our listeners a way that maybe they can get in touch with you, follow you, find your book, and then take your time and tell us about your book.
Awesome. Thank you, Michael. Anyone can get in touch with me by my website, sunnytconnor.com. Society versus You is out on all platforms: Amazon, barnesandnoble.com, Apple iBooks, Google Books, pretty much anywhere where books are sold, and it's also in certain bookstores as well. And my social media is Instagram, and it's Sunny_the author. Now about this book, Society versus You. Society versus You is a book that really brings you in a world of choosing your higher self over the version that society has enforced on you. We tend to get into a snowball effect of living life and just doing what's expected of us, how we should work, when we should have kids, how we should raise them. And how I came about writing a book is I was doing everything the right way. Everything society would say that a woman of my color, of my background should act, should do. And I wasn't happy. And I asked myself, why aren't you happy? And I said, because you're doing everything the way that someone else has enforced you to do it. And what if you just stop following the rules? What if you don't work a 9 to 5? What if you do follow your dreams? What if you do wear what you want, act how you want, talk how you want, dance in the middle of the street if you feel like it? What would be a life like that for you? And I started the steps, which these steps are in the book, of how to become your highest self. Not the self that's the ego, or the self that's, always knick-knacking you in your head, telling you what you're doing right or wrong, but your true self, the true self that came to this experience to experience life. And how do you hear it? How do you get to it? How do you find yourself in a world that you're creating? Everything in your life, and the book talks about this in many chapters, that everything in your life you chose. And we tend to play the victim, like, this is happening to me and that is happening to me and someone's treating me unfair. But everybody that you have in your reality, you chose. You chose your husband. You chose your wife. You chose your house. You chose your job. You say, oh, I hate this job. This job is so terrible. But you chose that job. You went on an interview. You put on a suit. You dressed up to get that job. You are creating this experience. You are in control. And that's what the book is about. The book is about taking your control back from what was enforced on you by society's standards of what's beautiful, how much money you should make, what college you should go to. Actually living this little bit of time we're here on this planet as you want to live it. And that's the sum all of the basis of the book. But it takes you on a journey of vibration. It talks about a little bit of law of attraction. It talks about death. It talks about self-esteem. It talks about confidence. It takes you on a journey, step by step, of the becoming of the version of you that you was always meant to be.
That sounds like a fantastic book.
Thank
You're
you,
absolutely
Michael.
correct. We're absolutely correct. Choices have consequences, and we made those choices. We made all of them. Nobody put us in those jobs. Nobody put us in these places. We made those choices, and we have to own up to that.
Yes.
So, Sunni, we thank you so much for being here with us today and opening up to us, and I'm sure our listeners appreciate this too.
I thank you so much, Michael, for having me. It's been an amazing experience, and I really appreciate you sharing your platform with me.
Again, this is Michael T., and I thank you for being with us this morning. To all our listeners, I would invite you to go to bookpartypodcast.com, hit that subscribe tab on top, scroll down to the icon of your choice, where you can find us on one of those favorite platforms, such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, or Odyssey, where you can download and follow us there. Please leave a review. Don't forget to sign up for our newsletter to get the latest information on our upcoming shows. Book Party Podcast is owned and powered by MTM Legacy Publishing, LLC. This is Michael T. signing off.
You must not miss our next episode as we delve into a world of inspiration, entertainment, and thought-provoking insights. Join Michael T. on the next Book Party Podcast and experience a new adventure, a new story, and a complete immersion into the world of Pages Unveiled, Chronicles of the Writing Journey.